Hello, people. This is Socrates' son. The question we will answer today is: should Muslims trust Subboor Ahmad to advise them on evolution? This is the question. In other words, should Muslims trust blind cultists, advise them about science with philosophy? More precisely, with sophistry? Thousands Muslims trust Ahmed Subboor to inform them about evolution. Ahmed Subboor is not an evolutionary biologist, yet he is the go-to reference when it comes to evolution, instead of real scientists. That shows the total intellectual disintegration of the Muslim community. So, by exposing the level of idiocy and point-blank clownish logic of Ahmed Subboor when it comes to evolution, in relation to how many people trust Ahmed Subboor to inform them about evolution, in essence, we expose the gullibility of the Muslim world, and in terms expose Islam. If Muslims believe this idiot with this kind of reasoning, what else Muslims believe? This is the next question. If you believe this clown with this kind of clownish evidence, what else you believe?
Question about evolution. Why not? Since Hijab's not here. Assalamu alaikum, Ahad. How are you doing?
Alaikum salam. How are you, brother?
Alhamdulillah. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from New York, upstate New York in Albany.
Nice. I always wanted to go to New York. Never been.
We would love to have you. I'm actually one of the event coordinators at the University at Albany of the Muslim Student Association. We would love to host you or Brother Hijab for in the future, inshallah. Anytime you are.
Inshallah, why not? Why not? I want to go. What's that thing? There's a place everyone keeps talking about food in New York. Halal guys. Yeah, I want to go there. Inshallah.
Of course. All right. So my question is regarding evolution. So I've seen a little while back, I saw one of your lectures. I can't remember the exact university. I think the title was Islam, Evolution, and something else that I can't remember. But mashallah, it was really, really well done lecture. I learned a lot, and I even recommended some of my non-Muslim friends to it. I thought they might be interested. And again, this was a while back. Just a quick question. I really don't remember if you maybe touched up upon this, but my question is: so what would you say? Obviously, the notion that humans, have like in the macro sense that we've evolved from apes and we share an ancestor with other primates and chimps and so on. Obviously, that's you totally obliterated that notion and with the whole lecture. But what about
Subboor obliterated the notion that humans evolved from apes. Of course, Subboor didn't do anything. Humans evolved from apes. That's a scientific fact. The fossil record is clear.
Wassalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum.
What are your ideas on human evolution?
Well, we have Adam and Eve initially, okay, and then, so, pick me up if I'm wrong, but this is, because it would be a lot easier with the Bible in front of me, but we then have, so their children were Cain and Abel, is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just checking with everyone, just to make sure I'm not making any errors here. Okay, and from there, they then had children from there.
So Cain and Abel had a child?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, okay, well, right.
Cain and Abel were two dudes. They can't have a kid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
The point is, you're saying that DNA has changed that much in 6,500 years, that 6,500 years ago, it was genetically viable to have it off with your sister.
But the Bible is very clear then when it comes to the time of Moses, that it then forbids brothers and sisters to marry. And the Bible is very specific about the reason for that. It says they're now too close.
Is that true for Ollie?
Can I, Phil? I just like I'm not trying to challenge you at all. I just would like to ask a question. In as much as, obviously, I believe the Bible as well. But you're saying that, like in the beginning, God made mankind. So why are they getting close, and then He just kind of stop it further on down the line? I don't get that.
As we're heading downhill genetically, it comes to a point in time where God says, look, your genetics are too close. You should no longer marry your brother or your sister.
There are some hair-raising ideas about DNA and incest being bandied about. Tim, however, is just interested in the evidence. He's dug up hundreds of human-like skulls from the same valley in Ethiopia. Carbon dating has put them at different ages. But can Sam put them in chronological order by sight alone?
So let's go. Let's take that one. That one is right from...
What is that?
That's from 1 million years old.
Oh, it's like this. So these are the eyes. Well,
right,
yeah.
That's right.
So I suppose it would probably go over here because the where the brow comes up is more similar to this one.
You got it. Careful now. They may not be the real fossils, but there's only one copy in the United States, so we don't want to break it.
I'm probably going to put this one here, I think.
Now, you got the order exactly correct, because what we find is that's the closest to the top. Oh, you got one out of order, the Kenyan one. So that's just,
is that right there?
That's good, that's good. And then we get back to 4.5 million years ago. Now remember, I talked about one valley in Africa, one stack of rocks. Now, according to the idea that humans haven't changed and that we should find humans all the way back, now we've got a problem in terms of the evidence, because we don't find any of those guys down in the early records, and we don't find any of these in the later records. So it looks like that model, where it should be all humans all the way back, fails.
It says a lot. I mean, I understand what your logic is. I understand how you got here. I haven't seen a case of natural selection making an organism change from one species to another species.
Neither have I, because we don't live long enough, bro.
One second. I think that's an
We don't live long enough. The neat thing we've got in this fossil record is nearly it's not conjecture, it's evidence and reason. We have almost a kilometer of rocks, over a kilometer, and we can actually ask the question, what do we see when we go back through time?
So in this valley...
And this is what we see.
You're on the wrong end.
I was waiting for somebody to do it. I thought it'd be blabbermouth, but you got in there first.
Yeah.
Hearing.
If you see this documentary, hardcore creationists became evolutionists in 3 minutes. Hardcore creationists. I mean, guys who put themselves out for creationists. It's like saying me, guys, who put myself out on YouTube about evolution, suddenly go to this university and go out and say, I believe in creation now. Okay. That's how strong is the evidence, guys. Hardcore creationists see the evidence and in 3 minutes became evolutionists. That's how strong is it. And that is just one puzzle. We have DNA, collaborating evidence, mountains of evidence, guys. That's just nothing. Forget what you just saw. That's nothing. Imagine this, multiply it with 1,000. Okay. Not even Suboor doubts that. That is the funny thing. He just says, but that is homology. No, that is not homology. Homology means, guys, that scientists saw it looks similar, therefore it's similar. No, that is not homology. That is gradual. Homology doesn't include the word gradual, not crossing. Okay, that's not homology, Suboor. That's hard evidence.
Today I want to cover human-chimp ancestry, human-ape ancestry. Now this is shown to the public like a brute fact. It's just a part of reality. It's a no-brainer. You'd basically have to be an idiot to deny human-chimp ancestry. This is the sort of pressure that Darwinists actually put on the public through documentaries, through popular videos, through science popularizers. Yet it's quite interesting that when you actually go and look at the academic literature, you find out this is a speculative idea based upon assumptions, and there's conceptual problems with those assumptions.
Yet not a single scientist this guy quotes. Okay, I have seen, I actually went to his references. Not a single scientist this guy quotes, evolutionary biologist, doubts humans evolved from apes. But that's irrelevant. Never mind, continue.
Now, human beings and chimpanzees, we have some similar traits physically. Because of this, Darwinists say, look at this physical trait, look at this physical trait, therefore they have a common ancestor. Well, this is an assumption, and this assumption is known as homology. Similarities are due to common descent. Now, fair enough, you can have that assumption and you can come up with, they have these nice neat diagrams in textbooks, and they say human beings and chimpanzees split up about 6 million years ago. Funnily enough, a few decades ago, they said it was not 6 million, it's 20 million years ago, so they revised it and dropped it by 14 million years. Nonetheless, it's fine if you actually have that, but when you actually look at how they came up with this figure of 6 million year split and how they believe that, why they actually...
non-intellectual buffoon. Okay, it's not just homology, it's other crossing evidence. They found the fossil. Look what this shameless, shallow, non-intellectual, complete buffoon. Sorry, my friend, but you deserve it, okay? You stand in front of a camera and you say this kind of stuff. You deserve it. I like you as a person. He's got a good soul. He reads, although he doesn't understand anything, but he's a gentleman. Okay, I like you. But you're an idiot, my friend. If we assume that you are not doing that on purpose, if we assume that you are that of an idiot, what is homology? The state of having the same or similar relation, relative position, or structure. In this case, structure. But that is not the evidence. The evidence are not based only on similarity, but gradual fossils, not time crossing, additional DNA evidence, other collaborating evidence from all fields of science. So, Suboor, why are you deceiving people, my friend? Or you are that of an idiot? I'm not being provocative, my friend. We have two options. You are that of an idiot to make statements like, evolution is based on homology. So, you are either that of an idiot, okay, complete idiot. Okay, so you should not even talk, my friend. Oh, okay, you can talk. But that's weird, guys. Either you deceive people, either you are in these levels. And obviously you are in these levels. I mean, a person that studies Islam and still is a Muslim, okay, so obviously you are in these levels.
Like in terms of micro evolution, with the fact that we have, different races and how our bodies change with the depending on the climate and the regions that we live in. For example, like East Asians versus South Asians, Africans, all these things, and how we were all Bani Adam, we were children of Adam, but perhaps over time we all spread out and we changed into different types of people. And so, what would you say? Like, what's the sort of in the micro sense, like evolution? We've sort of, for the lack of a better term, we've evolved into looking into these different races and all that, because to the best of my knowledge, we know like Adam alayhi salam, he had like lots of children and twins, and all those and they married amongst each other to create more children. To the best of my knowledge, I don't know if him and Hawa alayhi salam gave birth to different races of children. I mean, I personally don't know. Maybe that was the case, but yeah, what would you say to that? Like the Islamic view on micro evolution in terms of that?
My young man, you are confused because you listen to the nonsense of a complete blind cultist idiot. Okay, a delusive, total buffoon moron. In this video, you will see the evidence of that, how he changes. Okay, you are trusting a blind cultist buffoon to tell you about science. My young man, never trust Muslim apologists to advise you about anything. These people are admitted blind cultists. Okay, their logic is clownish for laughter. For laughter. Okay, they are admitted blind cultists buffoons. They never said a true thing in their life. I have made, let's say, I don't know, I can't remember, 300 videos. Let's say 300 hours. Okay, I don't know. People will think this guy spent 300 hours. Okay, let's say 200 hours. I made video 200. They never said a true thing, not a word. 300 hours, they never said a word true. Evolution? What evolution? They didn't say a word. I needed to stop my video every 3 seconds. If you expect to find truth believing Subboor Ahmad, good luck with that, my friend. You might as well go to a baboon. Go ask a baboon. Asking a baboon to tell you about evolution and Ahmed Suboor is worst. If you ask a baboon about evolution, at least you won't be confused. These guys not just misinform you, they give you wrong information. In Greece we have a say, η μημάθεια είναι χειρότερη της αμάθειας. Half knowledge is worse than not knowing. Because half knowledge confuse you. Okay. So, the same way you won't ask a baboon to tell you about evolution, the same way you should not ask Ahmed Suboor to tell you about evolution. Go to a scientist, my friend.
Yeah. I think before I answer the question, let me just repeat for everybody the broader outline of what our approach is. So the first thing is we would accept Darwinian evolution as a valid scientific theory, right? We'd accept it as valid science. We just wouldn't accept it to be true literally. So that's the first point, which is very important.
Okay, let's see what is a scientific theory. A scientific theory is an explanation of an aspect of the natural world and universe that has been repeatedly tested and verified in accordance with a scientific method, using accepted protocols of observation, measurement, and evaluation of results. So, that is what you accept about evolution. Okay. So, what's the problem?
The other point is that essentially we do not want to bring within the scientific discourse, insert in our theology in terms of miracles, because the miracle of Adam is like the miracle of the parting of the sea or the miracle of the virgin birth of Jesus or any of these things. So, of course, scientists would never accept the creation of Adam. They'd never accept the virgin birth. They'd never accept the sea parting and these things, because they would stick to methodological naturalism. Why wouldn't they? That's their main thing. So our main approach is not to challenge the science using science. It is to basically say, well, in the philosophy of science, we understand that science isn't absolutely certain. You have the problem of induction and underdetermination and
in other words, science contradicts what I believe in the Quran, so let's destroy all science. That is what you are saying. That is what this idiot is saying right now. Guys, evolution has all the evidence. This is what this idiot says. Okay. Evolution has all the evidence. what we can do now, obviously we cannot use any evidence. So let's destroy science altogether. Science is not reliable anymore. So in other words, you put the Quran over science. That is what you're doing, eh? In other words, you instead of seeing if the Quran complies with science, to see if the Quran is true, he places the Quran as an authority of science. So look, guys, look what this idiot is doing. Look what this idiot is doing. Look, guys. He says that, okay, instead he finds a scientific error in the Quran and instead think, the Quran contains scientific errors. Therefore, it's most probably not true. No, that means that science is wrong. All the scientific establishment is wrong and the Quran is true. Suboor, now the next inevitable question. If you are using this method that the Quran defines truth, how you know the Quran is true then? You can read any nonsense imaginable in the Quran and still say this is true and science is wrong. How you know Islam is true then? How you know? If you can read any nonsense imaginable in the Quran and still believe it because the Quran defines what's true, how you know the Quran is true then? You have blind faith, Suboor. As you admit right now. Let's show the clip right now. Muslim apologists, when they don't abuse the philosophy of science to delude their audience and themselves that they are reasonable to believe unreasonable things, they will also challenge the foundations of what we can really know with presuppositional apologetics.
Fundamentally, this is what I want you to understand. In this conversation, there are two people who are not actually talking on the same level. There is a Muslim who is looking at the world through lenses, green lenses, and he's looking at the world as green. And there is a non-Muslim who is looking at the world through red lenses. So what's happening in the conversation is the Muslim is saying, this is green, this is green, this is green. The non-Muslim is saying, this is red, this is red, this is red. Why is that? The reason is, this is the case is because the Muslim is looking at the world through the lenses of La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah. He believes that this man called Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam is the final messenger of God, therefore whatever he says is true. Now, what I want to do is this. These are aspects of Islam that we all believe in and accept. What if I come along and I tell you something? I tell you hypothetically, before you do takfir on me, hypothetically, there is a sahih narration of the Prophet ﷺ that you have to wear a yellow hat on Sundays. Hypothetically. Raise your hand if you're going to wear a yellow hat on Sundays.
Muslims, you trust this guy to tell you about evolution. Seriously now. The blind cultist. The person who goes into classrooms and teach students blind faith. You trust this guy to tell you about evolution. Seriously, now. He is the guy that he will tell you about evolution.
Alternatives, all these things. So after all of that, then what we would do is we would do epistemic weighing, that the reason why we believe in the miracle of Adam is because we believe in the Quran. But the reason why I go into the problems with Darwinian theory is to show that there's a difference between the public understanding and the academic understanding, right? However, if we accept the Darwinist paradigm, not the Darwinist, the atheist paradigm that there is no God, then of course human chimp ancestry and all those things, you have no choice. Literally, that's the only game in town. If there is no God, then some naturalistic evolutionary process must have been the only way we came around. Okay, so that's the first point.
Nice point. Suboor, you are Einstein, eh? You are Einstein. Very nice point. So let me get that straight. First of all, so evolution just assume. What about the evidence? What evolutionists do? They say, okay, I don't believe in God, therefore evolution. This is the science of evolution. They say, okay, I don't believe in God, therefore evolution. They say, no evidence in between. Guys, this is what happened. As scientists, let me tell you how evolution began. There were some scientists and said, okay, we don't believe in God. And the other person said, okay, so let's invent something called evolution. What is that? It doesn't matter. Just invent something. Let's just call it evolution. Because we don't believe in God. Any evidence? No. What evidence? No, just let's invent a term. Is that what happened? No, they show some evidence. You just admitted, my friend, that evolution is science. You just admitted that. So obviously there are evidence. In contrast, you idiot, what you accuse evolutionists of doing, you are doing that. You say out of the blue, because I believe in the Quran, therefore evolution is not true. This is what you just said now, literally. You said, because I believe in the Quran, therefore evolution is not true. So what you accuse atheists of doing, you are doing right now. In other words, Suboor.
The other point is, what is our stance on microevolution, like you mentioned? I mean, we would have
no. Let me guess. Microevolution, you don't have a problem. Because it doesn't contradict the Quran. So, look, guys. look, guys. Now, microevolution, you don't have a problem. You saw the evidence. And, okay, now the evidence. So, let me predict that you won't have a problem with microevolution because that doesn't contradict the Quran. Let's see.
No problem with it at all. This is something we can see. This is something even before Darwin.
God damn it. God damn it, you are a clown, my friend. God damn it. God damn it. God damn it. God damn it. You are a clown. God damn it. Now he doesn't have a problem because he doesn't contradict the Quran. Suboor, I would have shown you my butt, my friend. Sorry, I cannot show it right now.
That was described. It was described by the ancient people. It was described by the Greeks and the people of the Indus Valley, the Indians, and this stuff is.
The ancient people, you trust them. The ancient people. Look, guys. This guy said, I don't trust the scientists of the modern day. On the other hand, okay, I trust the ancient people. Okay, please continue.
Fine. Who cares about it? This is not a bone of contention. What about macroevolutionary processes, right?
Let me guess. That contradicts the Quran. So obviously you saw the evidence and it's wrong. That contradicts the Quran, so you saw the evidence. And you concluded, as a neutral observer, guys, that contradicts the Quran, but it just happened, this neutral observer, that goes into classrooms in his free time and teach students how to be biased. But this neutral observer saw the evidence and said, oh, no, that doesn't work.
You know, huge changes. And again, I think Muslims need to be very careful here. You know, we're talking about hypotheticals, if then, right? I don't really see a problem with it, right? I don't really see a problem, and I'm talking about theologically, right? I don't really see a problem with the idea that this thing evolved into that thing over a long period of time, and you had various species coming out and subspecies and stuff like this. So there's all this stuff which is potential. So as Muslims, we shouldn't discard something as, okay, that's very, that's impossible, that's this, that's that. But yeah, that's the way I would do it, that we're open from that perspective. In the same way, we are open we would have been open, say, 70, 80 years ago to the idea of the steady state model, that the universe is eternal, even though that conflicts with the Quran. But we would say that, look, we'll accept it as a valid theory, but we won't accept it to be literally true.
That's a direct admission that you are blind cultist. If you don't consider evidence to support your faith, that means you are a blind cultist. You don't have good reasons to believe in Islam. Let me rephrase what you just said. You just literally said that I don't have a good reason to believe in Islam, but I will keep believing. This is what you just said right now. Because if you reject all evidence against Islam, by definition, how you know Islam is true? You don't know. You are a blind cultist. Debate with Aron Ra at Speaker's Corner. Do you remember?
For the purposes of this discussion. And
what is that definition?
Yeah. And that's the definition I used. Which
what is it?
Which I said was something absolute, something that's not going to change, and something that can't be revised.
So, according to Ahmed Suboor, when he investigates evolution, a fact is something absolute, something that is not going to change, and something that cannot be revised. In other words, Suboor said that the science of evolution is not a fact, as the requirements he sets for something to be a fact cannot be met by definition. Ahmed Suboor stubbornly will refuse to call evolution a fact, not because he's got strong evidence against evolution. In fact, he admits that the evidence are strongly in favor of evolution. But he rejects evolution because the definition of a fact he demands is so high that cannot be met. The same guy, look what he demands when he is to demonstrate the truth of Islam.
Just for its amusement. Okay, good question. Now this question boils down to, how do I know what I am saying is actually true? Because if I come along to you, James, and I say I have this book is from God, and this is the Quran, and this says the purpose of life is to worship God. Somebody else comes to you, James, and says, actually the purpose of life is something else. You have the right, sir, to say, what proof do you have, what evidence do you have that this is the word of God? Because I could make up an arbitrary purpose, and he could make up an arbitrary purpose. Anyone can write a book. There has to be some form of evidence. It's like this. There are miraculous parts of this book which cannot be explained using human agency. And that's something we can objectively argue about. The second point is, if you sincerely as a human being, you ask for guidance, God will show you this is the truth. But that's not an objective argument. So the first one is. So let me explain to you why.
But wait, Suboor, I thought facts are something absolute, something that's not going to change, and something that cannot be revised. That's not facts. No, facts is something that we can objectively verify. That is facts. No. Okay, sorry. I misunderstood. Okay, please go on.
Now, what's the criteria to test whether something is or is not a genuine prophecy? I want to ask you that. How would you discern the truth from falsehood?
would use empirical evidence.
Exactly, you would use empirical evidence. Something verifiable, something falsifiable, and something precise.
Three again. Something verifiable, something falsifiable, and something precise. It's not the other three. Something absolute, something that is not going to change, and something that cannot be revised. Now with the prophecies is something verifiable. In one case, empirical evidence cannot establish facts for evolution. In the second case, empirical evidence can establish facts for prophecies in the Quran. It starts to become abundantly obvious that Suboor misrepresents the truth-bearing ability of science when it fits him, while he tunes his skepticism to always reach to the same conclusion, irrespective of evidence. But thankfully, the other giant of the argument of scientism in Islam, Hamza Georges, the other giant of objectivity, doesn't do that. he does even worse. Look, he will happily say that even a hug might be enough when it comes to accept Islam.
Innate disposition, has a ruh, a soul, has a qalb, a heart, has a aql, and the intellect is a function of the heart in Islamic tradition, and it has a fitrah, and the fitrah is clouded. And within the fitrah, the innate disposition, there are forms of proto-knowledge in the Islamic tradition that God is a reality and that He's worthy of worship, but that clouded. So it could be that a sound, rational argument, philosophical argument, whatever, can uncloud your innate disposition to awaken the truth within, or it could be something else, or it could be a combination of things. So when you ask me, it needs to be demonstrated, well, I need to find out who you are, because I don't know where your cloud is. Maybe you need a rational argument. Maybe you need a good hug. Maybe you need some love. Maybe you need some really strong Quranic verses to wake you up, because the reason for your disbelief is arrogance, right?
Suboor, if you are a serious intellectual person, if you are not serious, you can continue as you are. But if you are serious intellectually, you have three options now after this expose. First, either you go and apologize to the Muslim community, to this young man, and tell to him, sorry for deceiving you, because I was passionate for Islam and that made me an idiot. That's the one option. The second option is to take down your channel, Darwinian Delusions. Okay, you should take down your channel. And the third option, there isn't any third option. Only two, if you are serious intellectually. If you are not serious, if you don't think yourself as serious person intellectually, just continue and advise people about evolution.
Right. The other thing that you asked, what was the last part of your question? Because you asked something very interesting.
That, well, honestly, I'm forgetting. I think I said some. I referred to the possibility of, or not the possibility, like me personally not knowing whether Adam alayhi salam gave birth to different types of races. Is that what you're trying to?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's it. Well, the thing is, look, when it comes to these things, we need to be super careful, right? Allah says, do not talk about what you don't know. So, and Allah also says He creates that which you don't know. So the thing is, as a funny way of remembering this, right? I think of the question, was Homo erectus Hanafi? Right? It's a really stupid question. It's a really stupid question when you think about it. Yeah, I made a video on this a few months back, and it's quite funny because people like that concept. Now, if somebody says, "Look, I really want to know if Homo erectus is Hanafi," the answer to that is, well, it's a totally nonsensical question, and it bears nothing upon Islamic theology and the truthfulness of Islam and this type of thing. So Adam alayhi salam, the progeny, and all of those types of things that we don't actually know, we cannot give a definitive answer in any way.
You just advised a young person to reject a scientific fact. And when he asks you, okay, so what is the alternative of the evidence? Even I can see. For example, races. For example, microevolution. You say, there is no evidence. In fact, you should take it on faith. Because we don't know things. This is your answer. My young man, evolution, if you take the Islamic Genesis story literally, evolution has already disproven Islam without a shadow of a doubt. That will never change in the future. In fact, in the future will be much worse as science knows more things. There is no escape from this, my young friend. If you take the Islamic Genesis story literally, Islam is disproven. Not just by evolution. Not just by evolution. By cosmology, by... Okay. So you have one option if you want to continue to believe in Islam, is to don't take these stories literally. Okay. Science not just disproven these stories without a shadow of a doubt. It's fairy tales. My friend, ancient Greeks could disprove these stories. Yet alone 2022, I don't know how. Ancient Greeks could disprove the stories. Okay. Thank you very much. I might even do a karaoke. I don't know yet, seriously. If, guys, I'm doing karaoke because I like singing. But I know every time I do karaoke, I lose subscribers. But I still do it for some reason. Thank you very much.
Waiting right away. Nothing seems to fill this place. I need it every time. So take your lights right on my face. Someday I will find a love that flows to me like this. This will fall away. This will fall away. I know. This is love of love. I'm losing. Sooner or later you know I'll be there. Getting closer. Holding the rope and making it fall. I'm losing. I forgot. This is getting old. I can't break these chains that I hold. My body is growing cold. There's nothing left of binding my soul. Vision is the passing fire. The pulse of this poison is taking me higher. This will fall away. Yes, this will fall away. Getting closer. Pushing me off of life, little else. I'm losing. Sooner or later you know I'll be there. Getting closer. Rolling up and taking the road. I'm a loser. I'm a loser. closer, pushing me off of light air. I'm loser. Sooner or later you know I'll be dead. Getting closer, going up and taking the ball. I'm a loser. Yeah, yeah. Fuck the police. You're closer. You're pushing me off of light air. I'm a loser. Sooner or later you know I'll be dead. I just discovered that I'm better in dancing than singing. So next time I will just do, cool stuff like, I don't know, anyway.